In our news bulletin for tonight, engineers have started installation for TV Niue's expansion and developments. New Zealand has banned the new imports of asbestos-based materials, but this will not affect the disposal of asbestos from Niue to New Zealand. Makefu unveiled a new war memorial cenotaph. The Environment Department has a national survey of households to look at the level of ozone-depleting gases used in some household appliances. After numerous delays, the installation of TV Niue's new digital TV system started this week with the arrival of 2 Chinese engineers. The project involves the installation of new antennas, repeaters and transmitters at Sekena, BCN and Kaho transmission sites. This is a Niue government-funded project that has been delayed due to engineers having problems acquiring visas from New Zealand to Niue. Work commenced at the main transmission site at BCN this week, with local riggers installing new antennas and new transmitters. The main site in Funokula is now complete, and work at the repeater sites at Sekena and Kaho will be completed by the end of this week. Testing will start this weekend for 1 week. TV Niue has also finally confirmed all its programming for the 12 channels, consisting of a mixture of educational and informative programs catering for all age groups. This will be advertised later this month. However, registrations are still open for the new TV service. TV Niue is also carrying out tests within the villages, especially in areas or locations further from the repeater sites and main transmission site. New Zealand has banned the importation of asbestos-contained materials effective as of the 1st of October this year, but this will not affect Niue's plans to ship and dispose asbestos in New Zealand. Niue has an abundance of asbestos-based materials that were brought in by the New Zealand administration as roofing for hurricane houses built in the 1960s. Following Cyclone Hatta in 2004, the Niue government noted that there was extensive damage to the hurricane houses with the asbestos roofing and the potential health risks posed by exposure to the toxic asbestos materials. The roofing materials were stockpiled and stored in shipping containers at a site in Hui for some time, while government took time to identify what options were available. At the time, 3 options were put forward: to bury the asbestos on island, to bury at sea, or ship to New Zealand for disposal. The decision to ban the importation of asbestos-containing products into New Zealand was made in June this year as part of the New Zealand government's program of reducing exposure to harmful products. Although the dangers posed by asbestos fibres have been known for decades, with an estimated 170 asbestos-related deaths in New Zealand each year, it is expected to rise, with the peak to be sometime between 2030 and 2040. However, it is still obligated to remove asbestos out of Niue. The New Zealand High Commission Office has given assurances that the intention of the ban is not to prohibit the asbestos-contained materials for disposal in New Zealand. New Zealand's ban on importing asbestos-containing product will not affect Niue and its need to get rid of asbestos from the island. Makefu Vale Kahuatua celebrated the unveiling of their new war memorial cenotaph today to commemorate Makefu soldiers who served in the First World War. As one of the few villages on the island that did not have a cenotaph, the village council and RSA representatives within the village were able to get the blessing of village elders and the community to proceed with plans to generate funds for this project. The village started fundraising earlier this year with bingos, raffles and donations from members of the community and families from overseas. According to a member of the village council, the location of the cenotaph is to portray unity and togetherness of the Makefu village people. The construction began in late July, and with the help of the community, despite a few delays due to the shortage of materials for construction, the working group were able to complete construction according to plan. The program today was the realization of a dream, and the village assemblyman, Tofu Puletama, expressed his gratitude to the village and all those who offered assistance towards the War Memorial Project. Premier Tokitalangi was able to address those present and commend the village of Makefu for their efforts as a community that has resulted in the completion of this long-awaited project. Premier Talangi was also given the honour of opening the memorial structure by cutting the kapihi ribbon, whilst a representative from the New Zealand High Commission and the chairman of the Niue Returned Servicemen's Association unveiled the plaque. Makefu's community continued with their celebrations in song and with a feast. A national household survey is being carried out at the moment to identify the level of ozone-depleting gases used in appliances on the island, and the survey will be carried out for approximately 2 months. This is part of the Niue Ozone project that is being implemented by the Environment Department and funded by the United Nations Environment Programme. 3 local technicians have been contracted to go out to each household and physically check any appliances that use ozone-depleting gases, such as refrigerators, freezers, air conditioning units, and even air cons in vehicles. The survey has been divided into 3 groupings. So from Swanson Supermarket heading south towards Hakupu, the technician will be Kuma Kishore. Liku to Hiktabake, Thirdson Akeimo, and from Namukulu to John Kalima's house in Lufi North, Ian Hippa. People have also been reminded that technicians are there specifically to do the survey of ozone-depleting gases, but not to do repairs. Inspections will be done in the afternoon, outside of the work hours, and they're hoping that people will be cooperative to ensure that they can collect the necessary data required. It is expected that the results from the survey will be compiled into a report by the end of October or beginning of November. That concludes our news bulletin for this evening. Do join us again for our next news bulletin next week. Don't forget, this coming weekend is the National Show Day up at Niue High School. That's marking 42 years of self-government. And there is also the 50th Jubilee of Niue High School.